story that we're reading right now, The Journal of Wang Li Chung, it is a historical fiction. You all have in front of you some vocabulary review. I'm going to model the first two, and then we're going to do some together, and then you'll do some with a partner. The directions say, tell whether the bold-faced definition that is given for the underlined word in each sentence below is correct. Circle yes or no. Number 1. Lewis registered his boat as soon as he bought it. Registered means officially recorded for protection. So is registered used correctly? Yes, it is. So you circle yes.
Johnny tried to put up yes. Does it use correctly? Nope.
So we're going to go ahead and go over this. Alright, number 5. Our investment in stocks was profitable. Does investment mean money used to make money? Yes. Number 6. John tried to endure the long wait for his turn at the park. Does endure mean to put up with? Yes. Okay, very good. So you read pages 406 to 506 to 509 by yourself. Go ahead and talk with a neighbor. Talk about if there were any words or phrases that you did not know. Go ahead, turn and talk for a moment.
Well, I know about that, but I got kind of confused.
Put your finger under the word April 27th. Remember, this is his journal. And this, later, when I told him what the fox used his chamber pot for, Uncle had a good chuckle. May 4th. We've cleaned out the cabin floor. Uncle says our method of mining is worth more than gold itself. We have to protect it. I agree. So we filled in the holes and smoothed over the dirt floor with branches. When we were finished, it looked just as we had first seen it. Now it's on to the next abandoned claim. May 24th. We stop only at abandoned claims where there was likely to have been gold at one time. Uncle and I have picked up a lot from the fox and his nose for gold. We look for spots where the river widens and the water slows, or behind breakwaters like our first claim. Some fifth graders, this week we have been practicing sequencing, which is the order in which events happen. On your Dyknow screen, you see some cards. These are some events that have happened from the story. I want you to number the events to indicate the order that they happened in the story. You may have to go back several pages. Number the events to indicate the order that they happened in the story. You can work with a partner.
Remember they tried to do something and then they deposited their money and saved it up. And then they said the store would be a good place. So first they tried to
We're going to take it by using the text. So I want you to turn back to page 506. All right, number 1, the first thing they did was they went into town to buy supplies. The second one is the one that we've stopped only at abandoned claims. That is on page 507. These were text-dependent tasks. You had to depend on the text. If you tried to do it by memory and you didn't look and try to find these events in the text, you probably did not get them in the correct order. The third event was that they think it would be a good idea to open a store. That is on the bottom of page 507. The very top of page 508 says, we're we're going to take our gold into Sacramento. That is the fourth thing that happened. Then the last thing that happened, which is number 5, is that Wong Ming Chung and his uncle make a deposit into an American bank so they can send some back to their family in China. As we close up this imaginate lesson today, there were 2 main important ideas from the story. Prospectors' lives were filled with uncertainty and danger. And the second one was surviving in the American West took courage, skill, and ingenuity. We're starting a new unit in science. We're learning about ecosystems. That an ecosystem is a place where living and non-living things interact, called biotic factors. Non-living things are called what? Tell your neighbor. Abiotic factors, that's right. If you look at what's on your screen, it tells us that an ecosystem is a place where a particular... Then it tells us that ecosystems can be divided into 2 categories. How many categories? 2. The 2 types of categories are terrestrial. Y'all repeat that with me. Terrestrial. Terrestrial means land-based. What does terrestrial mean? Land-based. The other category of ecosystems are called aquatic. These are going to be ecosystems that are made mostly of water. I want you to make a T-chart. One side is going to be called aquatic ecosystems. The other side is going to be terrestrial ecosystems. I'm going to give you these slides of different ecosystems, and you are going to try to figure out, is this ecosystem, is it going to belong under the terrestrial category, or is this ecosystem going to belong in an aquatic ecosystem? And you're going to write down what you think. I'm going to give you several pages, and you're going to go through them in your own speed. Let's check. Land-based ecosystems would be, the terrestrial ones would be a desert, a grassland, a forest, and the ecosystems that would fit under the aquatic category would be an ocean, a graphic organizer. And you are going to look at this organizer and think back at those ecosystems that we went over and see if you can determine which one goes with which. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about first. I see that it's called an ecosystem chart. I see that it has different types of ecosystems, A, B, C, D, or E. One of these is a desert. One of these is going to be a forest. So I'm looking at I'm looking at A. Okay? This says it almost has no water. It can either be really hot or really cold there. The soil is poor. That means there's not a lot of stuff that you can grow there. The plants that grow in this ecosystem will be like cactus or sagebrush. And so I'm going back to all my pictures and I'm looking at the ones that looks like it has hardly any trees, hardly any animals. This is definitely a land-based ecosystem. This is going to be a desert. So on your chart, underneath or in that box that says A, I want you to call it a desert. I'll give you a few moments to do that.
And B is...
Oh. D is pond and lake.
Okay, now let's go over it to the ecosystem B. Now this is going to be a forest because it has lots of trees. Ecosystem C is going to be a grassland. Ecosystem D, this is going to be a lake or a pond. Ecosystem E, this is going to be an estuary or an ocean. Make sure that you have corrected your graphic organizer and that you have it labeled correctly.